We are live.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome all to the product management orientation for the week, or for the cohort rather. My name is Umar Tijani Ahmad. As you all know, I'm the internship coordinator for this cohort. And together with me, I have Mr. Abdurrahman Lawal, which is the product manager here at DSHub. I also have here with me the CEO of this organization, DSHub. And today we'll be having our track-wise orientation for the product management, and every other person is actually invited and welcome to join in as well. So welcome all. I know you've all been waiting. Sorry for the wait. Sorry for the delay. We're facing a little bit of technical issues, but thankfully we are ready to start right now. So today we'll be having a brief presentation by our product manager here, and I want you all to take this opportunity because Mr. Lawal is one of our very valued staffs here at DSHub. So this is a once in a cohort opportunity to ask as many questions as you can. So please, while he's giving his presentation, I want everyone to take notes at the end of the session. And after his presentation, we'll also be taking questions regarding the internship, not only the track per se. So please, Mr. Abdraman, Mr. Lawal Abdraman, please, the stage is yours, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody, and it's a very great delight for me to join you tonight. I would just quickly observe the established protocols. The CEO and founder of DSHub, Mr. Muhammad Shamsuddin, MBA. Thank you very much, sir, for having me, Mr. Tijani, the coordinator, and every other person working with DSHub, and of course the Interns. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here this evening. Good evening, everybody. So, yes, I want to be sure the slides are going to be moving. So basically, I'll just be walking you through what we'll be doing together as mentor-mentee relationship in terms of product management and, of course, strategy, right? So for every product, and before I even proceed, I would like to make sure that you understand the difference between a product and a project, okay? So when you hear the word product, you understand that it's something that is well packaged. It's not just a task that you deliver and then end. No, it's just like what you see in your everyday product, your mobile phones, your network providers, even as little as snacks and all those things that you purchase, they are all products. So the difference between a product and a project is that it's based on timeline. So a project starts from somewhere and ends at the end when it is done, completed, like a construction, all those things are projects, right? But when we talk about products, especially when we talk about digital products, it is basically you starting from, the process of development down to even iteration. You continue reviewing and all of these things. So that's the difference. So we just move to the next slide. I believe the next slide is just referring or showing who I am. So basically, I'm a product manager, experienced in delivering, healthcare products, most importantly, digital health products, most importantly. And another thing is my expertise is not just about product management. I'm a very good public speaker. I'm a very good teacher. I'm a mentor. And of course, with experience in partnership, I also know how to secure partnerships, work into the markets, work into collaborations and all of these things. And why exactly am I here with you? This is basically because DSHub has a very outstanding vision with the internship. And of course, this is also something I'm very passionate about. And when I see visions that align with mine, of course, I want to always key in. Thank you very much for that. So we just move to the next one, which management. The next slide, when we say what is product management, basically, again, I just want to repeat that. Let me reiterate that product management is different from project management, but usually confusing most times. So like I said earlier, for projects, you have a start and you have an end. For products, you never have an end. That is why till date, you have a product manager for WhatsApp. You have somebody that's managing the WhatsApp products, right? Which is quite and absolutely different from a project. Okay, so that's something that you also need to really know. Now, what is product management? So like every other kind of management, whether it's business management, whether it's project management, as we have said earlier, um, something is unique about it. You're managing something, right? Now, in case of product management, since this is going to be a digital kind of explanation in terms of product management, we actually sit in intersection of three things, right? As product managers, we sit in that section of the user, the business, and of course technology, and that is the first intersection. Okay, so I'll give you the second intersection too. Now, for the first one, which is in between user, business, and technology, the user is the whoever is going to consume the product. So if you are creating a product or you are building a product, the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you are building for someone. You understand? Whoever you're building for is the user, the consumer. So you see yourself as a manufacturer. Of course, I want to build a product for a consumer. Who is the consumer, right? So I'm actually solving the problems or providing the solution for that particular consumer. Now, when you build for a consumer, of course, nobody wants to build without profits. Nobody wants to venture into anything without revenue or generating return on investment. So of course, you have a team, you have stakeholders, you have CEOs, you have people that are, the higher hubs, people that are involved in, the whole process of how to fund that product, and of course, how to also generate revenue from that product. So as the PM, you work with them also in terms of, that's where your strategy comes in place. In fact, every other part, strategy is always important. But then in that space too, you also know to make sure that you're not just venturing into something without any guaranteed ROIs, right? And then the third one, which is technology, is where heading you have tried to, actually bring it to life. So who's going to bring it to life? Of course, that is where the technology is coming about. So we talk of, the engineers, whether it is you are building just a software, that is just software. So you are talking about the back-end developers, the front-end developers, or you're looking at even AI. So you have to start thinking about AI engineers and all of these people. So all of these things are, the tech part of everything. And in fact, also, why you have different categories of people too. So when we look at the people that you're working with, that is second intersection now. So the first one is user needs, the business goals and strategy, or the technology. Then the second one now is the people you are going to be working with as a PM. So as a PM, you'll be working with designers, product designers. So I believe that you have heard of user experience, user interface, and all. So basically, the whole design thinking and all of these things comes to place before you create a product. So there has to be the design. You work with the designers, either a designer or designers, depending on the robust and like I said earlier, the developer, DevOps, whether it is back-end engineer, whether it's front-end engineer, or whether it's AI engineer and all of these things, or all of these people. So you work with these people. You also at the intersection of these people. Then a third set of people that you're working with again are the people that we refer to as marketers. So of course you want to produce, right? You want to develop, but then you still have to what? Market. You have to get it to the user. So there's no how you want to get to your at the beginning. You get to your user through your requirements to understand what your user wants. But then when you are done producing, you want to solve problems, right? So you have seen their problems, you're solving it, you have a solution, but you want to sell the solution. So how do you get to them? You need your marketer. So you're at the intersection of these three individuals, right? Take like a Venn diagram. You have three different sets. So, yes, you have the marketers, you have the engineers, and then you have the designer. So you are at this intersection of the three sets. You understand? So that's basically what we have in terms of product management. So just move to the next one, which is the mindset that you're expected to have as a product manager. Now, that'll be the next slide. All right. Okay, thank you very much. So now, as for everything you are doing, I believe even during your internship, there was one particular statement, your internship orientation. There was a statement that I think the CEO mentioned. It is understanding your why, defining your why. So for you to venture into anything, you have to really have your why set up. Okay, Why do I have to come to this session today for this orientation? It start from there. Why did I register for this particular training? Why do I want to become a product manager? Why do I want to train as a product manager? Right? So all of these things have to be clear. So when you clearly start with your why, you have defined it, you have understood it, you understand. And the funny thing about your why is that when you have an answer, right, or when you have a why, your purpose, right, it drives every other thing. So at times will come, or a solution. Let me just use the word solution. And you have already understood your why you're actually doing that. Of course, you have a purpose. You have what is driving. You have what you're doing, and of course, it is a very clear thing for you. So there are times that things will go sideways. You don't expect everything to be so smooth. I believe many of you have heard of what happened with Metaverse with Mark Zuckerberg. Now, they have a clear why. They have a clear vision. They invested a lot of revenue or funds into Metaverse, right? And then you can see what has happened. It's part of it. So when your why is clear, you don't necessarily have to now give up and say, no, I'm not going to do anything anymore. So you expect that you have anything that comes, but then of course you know that you're not the reason for it to come. That's number one. But then your why is clear on why you're actually doing those things. So when you have unforeseen circumstances like that, okay, basically you have tried your best and you have this validation that okay, this is not entirely your fault. So that is you understanding and starting with your why. That is the first part, which is very, very important as a mindset that you must have. The second thing is if somebody is telling you, you have a particular thing. I like using the perfect example that I like using when we talk about product is WhatsApp, because everybody uses WhatsApp, right? Or let me say a vast majority of the world population uses WhatsApp. So now you have your WhatsApp, right? You know how WhatsApp started. And then they notice that, okay, some things are making people leave and then go to emo or go to WeChat. What is making people leave? Okay, the ability for them to make calls, video call, voice call, and send voice note and all of these things. So you have seen the problems that people are actually looking at. Some people are not literate. So some people cannot even type, cannot make conversations or have conversations with people. How do we now solve this particular problem? You have to iterate, you have to bring features. So those features there, on the same product of WhatsApp, you have so many features. So that features is you solving problems, right? So when you have that affinity for problems, these are problems, you try to identify a lot of problems. Your solution that you're going to bring to those problems will come from the love that you have for the problems. Okay, so that's basically what that does. Then the third thing is for you to also, most importantly, have systems, right? Again, I'm also a very interesting person. I like to bring cases that happen within us every day. So I use WhatsApp as an example when I was talking about the problems and your why. Let me now come and use football as something that you wish to understand what we mean by systems. So you and I, following the news on football news recently, or teams that have been performing woefully have started performing well because of the change in management. And the management change does not just change like that, it affected the systems, right? So now, when there's a system, right? When there's a system, whether it is a good system or a bad system, let's say it's a good system, what do you expect to happen? Of course, you expect that the ripple effect of that particular system would come and give you what? Whatever you're expecting, good thing, right? That is what it is, because decisions are marked or mapped into what? Into systems, right? That is the first part. Now, the second thing is that if it's a bad system, right? A bad system, what do you expect again to happen? Same thing. Whatever effort you put in, you are going to expect a bad result or bad outcome. That is what is happening. So as a PM, you have to really understand the system. Okay, how am I going to work with people? Now, for the experience I have, I know I work with people, right? And people that I work with, there's a clear system. You understand? So somebody that doesn't fit in the system would definitely have lapses. And when the lapses occur, you are going to really quickly identify that this is the issue. And when you find out that issue, what happens? Of course, something has to happen. the person has to either be removed, or you have to really communicate properly with the person, advise the person, or bring the person back to fit into the system if the person can. And if he cannot or she cannot, what do you expect to do? Of course, you have to find a replacement. So that's basically what happens with systems. So you have to really understand systems. When you understand system as a person, as an individual, just like your internship is structured, that is a system. You want to have an internship for 9 weeks. You understand? There's a clear timeline. Now you have these 9 weeks. What are you going to do within this 9 weeks? How are you expected to do something? Okay, you have stand-up meetings, you have hot seats, you have cold seats, all of these things. They are all systems to ensure that you really get the value of what you're actually brought in for. So that is exactly what we refer to when we talk about you. Now, the fourth part is data informed. Now, it will be a very deep catastrophe if you're going to be working as a PM and you don't have people that are good with data, or you yourself being good as a data person, right? What we're saying is that numbers never lie, right? Numbers never lie. I cannot say, okay, how many people are in this session today, because I'm not joining you from the front. So, but then if you understand numbers, right? Okay, we can easily make judgments from numbers. Now, let's say you are 100 that applied for the PM and strategy internship, and only 10 were in this orientation. What do you expect to happen? Right? So, Mr. Tijani, can you please just tell me how many people do you have on this? How many people do you have on the school?
We have roughly 7.
7. How many people applied?
We have 7.
How many?
Well, for the product manager role, we have about 35.
Thank you very much. So that's 1/5 of the people that actually applied. So what do you expect now thank you very much, Mr. Tijani. So for all of you listening, I know that, yes, this is a session that is available for you to go and rewatch. But then, if you have 35 people that applied for this particular internship, and during the mentorship, only 7 appeared for the mentorship session, and for the orientation session. So what exactly do you think will happen? Right? So I can easily make my assumption that, okay, I probably will having just 1/5 of these people graduating, because how you start anything is always going to show how it's going to end. So maybe 1/5 of those people will actually they will be the ones that will successfully graduate or be done with the internship or complete the internship. So that is number, right? We have the numbers that, okay, 35, 7 were present. So 7 were key, 7 were serious. So what do you expect to happen to the rest of the 28? So that is basically what that data does. Same thing when you map out problems, right? You have done your research, you have done your user research and all of these things. Your needs, their requirements. You test, right? So in the process of testing, you get feedbacks. So the feedbacks you get would come in form of data. From the data, you can make informed decision that, okay, these people are having these particular problems. Most of the people that have problems have this particular because of this so and so reason, or this particular reason. Okay, how are they using this product? What is the challenge they have? What is, how can we mitigate those challenges? All of these things will come from the data that I've collected from them. So that's something you have to also be very, very ready to do or learn. The next thing is you have to own the outcome. Now, the reality is that for everything you do, and that is one thing that I don't joke with when it comes to CU, for everything you do, as much as the process is important, right? The result or the end is also very important. Like I said, the product does not have an end, right? But then there is something we call conclusion for every phase. Okay, when you complete a feature or a development of a feature, that is a completed phase, right? But same product, when you move into the market, it is still what? That's if you're able to go to the market, okay, you want to have this total number of users, it is still what? A process, right? So when you get to an end of something, okay, this is what we set for ourselves, that, okay, within this time frame, we want to have this particular thing done. Let's be blamed. You cannot go and start blaming the back end or blame the front end or start blaming the designer. Of course, it's still going to be the PM that would be in charge and accountable for whatever happened, whether it is a positive or negative impact, right? So that's basically what it is. And the final one, which is not actually the final one, as you proceed also, your mindset will be shifting. But then there is nothing you cannot joke with. If you are managing something, you have to be a leader to manage, right? And for you to manage, you understand, you are managing people, you're managing systems, you're managing products, and all of these things. So you have to show some level of authority, right? Understanding of what you are doing, influence, right? And because the reality is, okay, you can. I used to have some interesting challenges sometimes. So some of the challenges I used to have is now we have concluded on a particular design. We're going to actually do, and then somebody, because of the engineering experience, because yes, engineers are very valid and they have experience, but then not necessarily experience with how the user thinks, but how they build. You understand? Now somebody's not like, oh, let us change this thing to this particular way, because he's looking at aesthetics, right? He's looking at how it makes sense for him or her. You understand? That is his own point of view. You, as the person that is supposed to lead this particular thing, you have to really communicate that, no, this is exactly how it should be. It has been approved. We move on from there, right? So that you don't have, and most of the times when you have this type of things, it leads to what we call back and forth. And back and forth leads to, project delays and also affect time and uh, uh, shipping time, right? It affects it a lot. So that's basically what happens with the authority. So as a PM, you really have to influence. You have to also inspire, right? So sometimes you have people that, okay, they have doubts. You understand? They have, you bring that inspiration, you bring that knowledge into the whole system, into the field, into the team, and let them also understand that, okay, this is exactly what we're doing. And then you continuously, educate, continuously lead. And of course, you also learn while leading, because when you lead also, you should also learn to also be a good follower, because sometimes or most times, in the technical aspect, you have people that are very very good, right, or better than you in this technical aspect, and you want to lead these individuals. So what do you do in this situation? So you have to learn from these particular people. So that's basically what we are referring to in this case. So basically, leadership is also one of the things you have to also have. Then next we have the core frameworks that you're going to use, that you have to use as a what's it called, as a PM. Now all this I've explained earlier, but let me just quickly just summarize. You have to really discover problems and define the problems, make it very clear. That's like a problem statement in what you used to have in a business plan, and you still have it in a product requirement document. You have your user research where you frame what the users actually need, right? See your product as a job. So when you hire somebody, what do you expect the person to actually do, right? Now, planning and alignment. Another thing is that you have to really have tools where you plan, you used to plan, and you to that particular moves that way. What you are building, what you are building, and in what sequence are you going to build. Then another thing is the OKRs. We call them the objectives and key results. So that's like, okay, for this particular thing, this is what we set. Our aim is this, and this is what we expect from this particular thing, right? So that's what we call goal setting. Yes. So you have to use what we call the OKRs. You have your aims and you have your result that you're expecting from them. Now, as you and I will be having interactions, these are some of the things that you will learn during this internship. That will be the next slide. So some of the things you're going to gain is you have to know how to write, you learn how to actually write a PR as your features, what you expected, the teams, and every other thing, the goals, the OKRs basically, and then your key performance indicators, metrics that you set. All of these things are usually in the PRD. Then the next thing is, you also know how to conduct interviews. You know how to reach people, users, and get problems, understand their problems, so you can define their problems. Then again, you also learn how to also build and prioritize, right? So you can have things that you want to do from outside, but then you have a product, you have your feature already, you have your backlog, you focus on that. Even if you're having new ideas coming up, you add them later, but you focus on the primary features that you want to have for your MVPs and of course for your other features. Then next we look at, you also learn how to define success. So what do you use to define success? Okay, I'm supposed to have this particular amount of users onboarded and all of these things. You have metrics that you have set for you to actually get that, okay, this we're improving or we're not improving, depending on that. Same thing with your objectives and your key results. We have aims to want to achieve this particular thing. The result will be what I have align your discuss with management staff, how you work with people that are really decision makers or key decision makers, or going to affect or impact your development or management. So that's basically what it is. And again, also you also learn how to plan sprints, sessions, and retrospective facilitation. How you go back to iterate and all of these things. You learn it during this particular. I have some expectations from you. So some of the expectations I have, that will be the next slide. Next slide. Thank you. So some of the expectations I have. Next slide, sir. All right. So my expectations from you basically is that for every session we're going to be having, you should be ready to be in that session. Whatever submission that we discuss or whatever thing you're going to discuss or submit with them, with the internship coordinator or with your supervisors or with anything, you have to also do that, right? And questions should be asked during our sessions, right? I will not tolerate when we are coming and everybody's silent. Okay. Then when you get feedback, maybe for and whatever you're going to do from you is that every project that you are given, every task you're given, you should treat it as if you're actually dealing with users, right? Dealing with people that actually depends on it. So that's very, very important. Now, what you can expect from me as your mentor is, of course, honest and actionable feedback, constructive feedback. It might seem destructive, but the argument you're actually constructive. And for every kind of concept you're bringing in, you expect that will also bring some real world context to, demystify some of these things for you. Then, so the times that we're going to set for ourselves that we've agreed upon for our mentorship, I would also be present there. I'll commit to being present during that period. Then, whatever it is, apart from the fact that you'll be learning how, you'll be, I'll be coaching you on, I'll be mentoring you on how to be a PM or PM strategies and all of these things. But pivoting into the career proper to also be what I'll be working with you through. And of course, you also know the standards that is set already. I'll also be discussing that with you. And of course, I would also want to push you beyond your comfort zone. So don't be too comfortable, because when you're comfortable, you become complacent. So all of these things would be what you'll be expecting from me, or what you should expect from me. Then the next slide, which is the tools and resources you'll be using. I saw that for every session they tell them the tools they're using. So usually I love using anything in Google tools, right? Whether it is their sheets, their keeps, their doc, you understand, and even the meet for the sessions. So anything Google, I just like it because everything is just in one place. When I have your meals, I can just integrate everybody together in the same space. So for just for the record, you use Notion for PRD writing, for the meeting notes if you're going to be taking notes, and then for research synthesis. All of these things will be done on Notion or on Google Docs, depending on what is familiar for you, right? Anyone works. Although when you are putting on your CV, most times you want to actually put the aspect of Notion so that you can actually use this particular tool. Same thing with Trello, same thing with Linear, same thing with all of these things. So you plan, it's just like a project board, how you actually put your plan and everything what you expect and how you try time, you track all of these things. You have Monday, you have different platforms, you have Miro, like actually sheet, of course, is where the data comes from. You can track what has been done, whatever is expected to be done, and all of these things. Then LinkedIn and GitHub. I know that LinkedIn, now this is for portfolio, right? So for the LinkedIn, I know that I think at week 5 or something, you would be asked to actually write about what you have done for the internship. That's why I put the LinkedIn here. So that's how you build your portfolio through that particular option, that particular opportunity. Show the world what you have actually done. So use LinkedIn for that. You can have your portfolio on your GitHub, right? You have your portfolio where people can actually see what you have done. You can even use Notion for your portfolio too, right? There are different. It's just showing what you have done actually, basically, as an individual, so that anybody that recruiter can see and say, okay, this is what this person has been doing so far and everything. You just represent it like a summary of exactly what you can do, what you have done, what you have so it just like a digital CV. Now, the final slide a statement that the best product managers do not just manage products. That'll be my last slide. So the best product managers do not just manage products; they make decisions that lead to great products. So as a product manager, you're a decision maker, right? And when you make decisions, you should also be ready to stand by that particular decision that you have made. So that's basically what it is. Let me most importantly congratulate you for making it up to this point and also being present during this particular orientation session. This internship is actually a proof of concept, right? And then from now, it's not just theory. Definitely, they don't do theory here at DSHub. You have hands-on experience, which you can even boast of, right? So that's basically what it is. So I think with this, I have come to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for listening up until this point. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Law. That was a very nice session. I also learned a lot. Also, for someone aspiring to be a product manager like me, I think I've gotten a lot of tips from here, and I hope it's the same for our fellow interns here. So, we are in the question and answer session now. So, please, you can go ahead to send in your questions if it's regarding the presentation made so far, anything concerning product management, or even the internship itself. You can go ahead and send in your questions now. This is your chance. And that you have as good a chance as right now where you have the CEO, the product manager, and I in the same meeting. So please while you are doing that, let's get some reaction from Mr. Law. That was a very nice presentation. Please let's put in some reactions for him. Thank you, thank you. Okay, I'm here to see any questions yet. Does that mean Mr. Lawang, Mr. He I think is this Hikma or Hikmo? I don't know. I'm not sure. Mr. Ulubanke, does that mean you all understand? You don't have any question regarding the internship? We are all experts in product management already. Okay, hearing from Mr. Lawan, he said he personally does not have any questions, but he can boldly say he's thrilled about this journey. Yeah, I will support you on that. So I'm also thrilled about it, and I'm sure you would have any regrets at the end of the day. Okay, in the absence of any questions, so of delaying, I'll just give a brief and we'll call it a day. So, as you've all known from the onboarding, I've explained how the structure of the internship would be, where you get your assignments on Mondays, you have time to meet with your teammates, and even before then, you have time to actually go through the task and make a little research itself. And this is very important because at DSHub, one of our mottos and one of our mode of operations is R&D, research and development. So the research aspect is not we can't even leave it out. It's part of our constant our regular behaviors here at DSHub. Everything we do is backed by research and development. So you also being interns under DSHub would also be using be using the same technique. So whenever you get your assignment in the first week, in the first day on Monday in the morning, first thing you do is to go through your task, do a little research. If you don't already understand it, you can do a little research. But one of the most important parts is to actually understand the case study. So with your assignment always comes a case study. So please take your time, read and understand that case study because most of the questions will be asked later on in the week or in the HOSI session will be very much connected to that case study. So if you fail to understand the case study, you might even fail to actually undertake your task, because you don't even know what you're doing the task for. You don't know what you're doing the assignment for. The case study explains everything. So please take your time, understand the case study before even going to the assignment itself. And if there's a need to book a session, please book a session. At the assignment, you find that there's a place where we write all the mentors you actually need to book a session with. Now, we're not limiting you to those mentors. You can actually book a session with more, but we are telling you that it's necessary for you to book a session with those mentors there. So please do book a session. So go to your assignments, do a little research, understand it, meet with your teammates, and discuss. Yeah, I think that meeting should even be done on the same Monday, maybe in the evenings or in the afternoon, if you are very effective enough in your research. So meet with your teammates, have a little discussion. The discussion might not be 100% beneficial to you, but might be beneficial to someone else in the team. And it's always a time to solidify your confidence in what you are saying when you are having discussion with other people and you are bringing in the same points, you are saying similar points from every other person. You are now sure that yes, what you are actually thinking or your method is actually accurate, it's actually correct. So after the discussions, you have the rest of the week to actually go ahead and implement your plan. And you have to make a plan even from the first or second day on how you are going to handle that task for that week. If you don't have a plan, they say if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So with every task that come, please take a little time and plan how you're going to go about handling the task. It's going to help you, and also in time management too. If you have a plan, it helps you to manage your time because you know where to slot each part of your plan in. So please use the remaining part of the week to actually implement your plan. And on Fridays you have the courses session, and for the product management, you don't really have a lot of interns, so it's very easy for you to brush through your courses sessions, have your presentation, have your meetings, and select a person to represent you in the hosting session. Now, one thing is, it's very important in DSHub that you have a slide for presentation. We do not present in DSHub without a slide. You can see all the sessions, all the orientations from the onboarding up to this point. None of the staffs have presented without a slide. So that should tell you something. And it's very important for you to have one. It carries your audience along, and it's really it gives them something to read, not just listen to your words. Some people cannot follow along with your words. Sometimes it might be too fast, too slow, or it's just a bit too much for them to take at that time. So at least they can read along as you are going. So please have a very structured and decorated slide. We like the decorations too. Don't leave it out, please. So you have your courses presentation on Saturday, on Friday. Then you have your host seat either on a Saturday or on a Sunday. After your host seat, you'll be given reviews, corrections that you are expected to implement. Please go ahead and implement it before you make your submission. Now, the submission deadline was initially on a Sunday, but now it has been moved to Monday at or before 11:59 a.m. Almost the same time you get your new task. So the cycle repeats itself every week until the ninth week. And it's very important to make your submissions very early. If you have to submit at or before 11:59, please submit at or before 11:59. I don't want to see anybody in my DMs telling me that oh they were not unable to submit because of network issues and it was just loading and the time exceeded and all of that. Please submit as early as you can to avoid any problems. Effect your corrections early and make your submissions early too. So in case you are facing any blockers, any problems, it's very important that you communicate very early. Communication is a very key aspect of this internship. Communication within your team, between and within teams, and between you and your supervisor or the management itself. If you have any um if you are facing any problems while undertaking your task, or you have a reason for not attending a meeting, please communicate before, not after. It's very important you communicate it before that time so that we would know and would make an exception if necessary. If we deem the excuse necessary or important or worthy, we can make an excuse for that. We can make an exception for that. So please communicate very early. And if you are facing issues with your task, first of all, communicate with your teammates, communicate with your team rep. And if you are not having, if it's not you're not getting a proper solution, you can communicate with your supervisor next. But before you do all that, do research. It's very important there. So you do your own research, intensive research. So still in the absence of any questions so far, um, I would like to once again thank Mr. Lawal Abdurrahman for his nice presentation, and it's taking time to actually prepare a nice slide which would eventually share to you. Sikma, I think. Don't worry, I will have the slide sent to you. And I would like to congratulate you once again. It's going to be a very nice journey from here, but it's going to be very intense. Meaning that it's product management doesn't mean that you should calm down. Okay, it doesn't have a lot of technical parts. I won't be coding, I won't be designing. So it's something that's going to be very easy. Trust me, as long as you are in DSHub and you're taking a course with us, you're taking an internship with us, it is going to be very intensive. So don't relax from the first week. Please hit it hard and continue like that. So I don't know. Maybe the CEO has a few words for us before we call the session to an end. But I'm not really happy with the number, with the turn up this evening. Being product managers, I expect you to take things very seriously and also manage your time very well. Be punctual. But I don't see a lot of people here, and I'm also not getting enough questions. So it's quite should I say sad? I had high hopes for this session this evening. But nevertheless, we shall still meet next week by this time, hopefully. And I'm sure by then you will have a lot of things to say. So I don't know whether the CEO has any final comments before I call the session to an end. Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening, the coordinator, Mori Tijani. Good evening, Mr. Lawal Abdraman Adiwale, for such an amazing presentation. And thank you to all the audience who have been in this session right from the beginning. So I know most of you, the audience, I know most of you are not here, but I'm sure a lot of you are going to watch the session later, which is very, very bad because all of you are supposed to be here. You're supposed to be here. Why you are supposed to be here is because you choose to sign up for the PM and strategy. You have interest, right? You show interest and you apply. Do you know what you sign up for? Because if you know what you sign up for, you won't be missing, things like this. Something that is going to prepare you well. You won't be missing a lot of things that will help you. So that's why I always ask, how does it feel to start a PM and strategy? Do you know how it will feel to start a PM and strategy? Because you should at least know how it will feel, because it means that you are well prepared. What do you know about the PM and strategy so far? What do you know? You have to be very curious, especially at DSHub. You have to be curious. I don't like when I hear that we don't have questions and I'm prepared and ready to start. No, it doesn't work like that. Please. You should have at least something, whether clarification or anything, You should be open-minded. If you are not here, then that's the worst case scenario because it shows lack of interest, lack of, it even show indiscipline. Because we have announced this orientation over a week ago. The date and time, everything was announced over a week ago. And you guys are the leaders. You guys are the face of a product. Products like Google Translates, AI applications, e-commerce, fintech, health tech. These are the products that are changing lives. These are the products you see overseas, and you want to go there and work over there. Did you think they will reach that level if they are going to be like, if they are going to start the way you are starting this internship now? When you see people at some level, did you know the rigorous, process to be successful in life is not an easy route. It's not an easy road to be successful. You have to what? Stand up. You have to what? Stand up. And you have to stand up and lead. Because this is more, the PM and strategy involves so many things, including leadership. In fact, leadership is at the core. You have to know how to lead. But here you are not even following instructions. Instruction was given to you over a week ago, and it's only less than 10 of you are here. And you want to be a product manager. It can only happen in a dream. Let me be honest with you. It can only happen in a dream. That's why you need to know why you are here. You need to know where you want to be in the next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Now, if I ask you in the next 3 years, where do you see yourself? Why are you doing this in PM and strategy? Because you want to. Why are you doing this PM and strategy? Where do you want to see yourself? You have to know where you want to see yourself. Even if it's in the future, you have to know the path. You have to know where you think you will be. Because you need to think like all these people, successful people you see today, they have this mindset. They set goals. They know how they progress. If you don't, then there's going to be a lot of issue, a lot of problems. And starting with this kind of attitude, this performance, the internship did not even start. Look at where we are today. If you cannot be able to mobilize your track members, your subgroups, if you cannot be able to control them, and if these subgroup members and track members, they cannot be able to comply, be disciplined, then what are we doing here? There is no point. Do you understand? The best is to what? Withdraw yourself, because you are just wasting your time and wasting other people's time and energy. Because no one is going to, there is no place on earth you are going to go and be the way you are showing this behavior or indiscipline. Okay? You have to change. You have to change. If you have so many things, you have to, that's why I say, if you have a lot, of your daily activities, all you have to do is to set time for this program and also set time for other things as well. That's where time management come in. And how are you going to learn more about the time management if you are missing important issues like this, important orientation programs like this? And you want to be a product manager. You want to lead a product team. Do you know what you sign up for? Really, do you really know what you sign up for? Do you know the workload that is on a product manager? Do you know that? Do you know the business aspects of it? Do you know who you are going to be competing with? Do you know your opponent? Do you know what strategy they are using? Do you know your strategy? Do you watch football? Do you see how teams fight for a trophy? Do you see their coach? Do you see what strategy they are playing, what formation? Just to defeat their opponents. And do you think their opponents don't have strategy? How do they come up with their strategy? How do they lead? Is there discipline in football? I can go on and on and on, but I'm very, very disappointed. I'm not supposed to this is a leadership team track, and I don't think we can continue like this because there is no point. So you guys need to change. You have to change if you want to help yourself, because no one is here because of anything. We are here to help, and we have given you platform, and you have chosen to sign up for it. So you have to what? Show up and be a man or be a lady. Do you understand? I hope we'll all learn from this. I'm not discouraging anyone. I'm someone who is like trying to be I'm just trying to help. That's all. I'm just trying to help because with a little bit of my experience, what I'm seeing is you are taking into the wrong path, and which is not going to help you anywhere. To be a PM is not just to what? Do anything you want and get a certification. Who is going to give you certificates? Even if you get it, where are you going to work? You are going to be leading a product. You are going to be the face of the product and the face of the company. So you have to rethink. You have to think again. Think again. If you think you are in the wrong track, work with the coordinator and switch to another track right from the before it's too late. But if you really want to do this, I think you need to change, the way you participate in this program, because there are a lot of things that are going that are coming very soon. Strict measures are going to be put in place, but you are ruining yourselves. What you are doing, you are ruining yourselves, but you don't know you are ruining yourself because you are going to be leading a product. There is no shortcut to it. There is no shortcut. Please. This is not how managing a WhatsApp group chat. Do you understand? You are going to lead a product. I hope you all learn from that. Thank you very much. Back to you, TJ.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. And thank you very much for that advice. I hope I am still audible. Can I get some
Yes,
comments or
yes,
reactions?
loud and
Okay.
clear. You are audible.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. So I think even after all that, we still do not have any questions or comments so far. So and please, the product team, I think okay, yeah, you've actually submitted your group leader's name and all of that. So that's, I think you're in the safe zone now. That's very good. So after today, we'll have the supervisor assignments, and you'll be introduced to your supervisor if you have one, and your task will be sent to you on the Monday morning. Please prepare very well. I'm seeing the task right now. It's a very nice one. It's a lot. It's a lot. So you need to be really ready for it. So this brings us to the end of the orientation for today, and I'll be meeting you all in the hot seat session next. So please be ready. And thank you very much all for taking time to come. Thank you very much, the CEO. Thank you very much, Mr. Lawal. And we hope to be seeing you in the course of the internship. So goodbye, everyone. Have a good night.